Hey guys, I'm super excited. I've got one of my friends here on the podcast today, Monica Edwards. Monica is an absolute rock star. She's been in the business for a long time, and she's also a coach, and she has an incredible coaching company. So I'm just thrilled that she's here with us to give us some of her insights. Welcome, Monica.
I'm excited to be here. It's an honor, Jim. Thanks for having me.
Of course, of course. So let's talk. Well, first of all, for those of you people that don't know you, let's a little background. Let's give them a little backstory here, real quickly about you.
Yeah, absolutely. So I've been an entrepreneur for 23 years. I've been coaching for 17 years, and I've learned a thing or two over those 23 years, right? So I'm able to shortcut the path to success by teaching the people things that I've learned.
I love
Uh,
it.
and yeah, and it didn't start off in real estate. It started off just regular entrepreneurs. But the bottom line is running a business is running a business.
Yeah,
And when I transitioned into real estate, I just fell in love with it, and I fell in love with the people. So
yeah,
yeah,
I
exciting
love it.
stuff.
So let's talk. We're coming in. We're recording this in fall, but who knows when you're listening to it? But universally, I think agents sometimes start to really think about, okay, I need to do some business planning, especially if you have any kind of downturn in your business, right? And you're
Oh,
like, okay,
absolutely.
I've got a gap in my production, I got a gap in my listings, I got a gap in my escrows, got a gap in my buyers. What's your take on their best approach for them to kind of start to maybe recenter themselves on business planning?
Well, and you're absolutely right, Jim. October is the month to be planning for the next year,
Yeah,
right? And
yeah,
the old adage, if you fail to plan, you plan to
yeah,
fail, right?
absolutely.
And so many people are not taught to have a business plan. And if they do, it's so broad in general, it's not detailed.
Yeah.
So the time is now to figure out what you want and how you're going to get there. And I usually do a business planning clinic every fall just to help people along the path.
Yeah.
And one of the first things they have to figure out is their head in the game.
Yeah.
Are you treating this as a hobby? Are you committed? And I've got this ladder of commitment, Jim, that everyone laughs when I show it because I liken it to marriage. And I'm like, so when your partner, your marriage partner, decided that you were going to get married, what rung of the ladder of commitment were they on? Were they at the
Mm.
bottom rung where they were hoping to be faithful? Right? Were they interested in being faithful? And same with their business goals. Are we hoping we can make them? Are we interested? Do we want to? Does it sound good? Or were they going to try? I'm going to try to make those goals, but until I get tired, or until I'm bored, or until a squirrel runs by and I go off chasing that thing. Or were they committed? Getting your
Mm.
game is really the first step in any business plan, deciding what you want and deciding if you are committed. And so many people we find when I show them that ladder, it's an eye opener. And I just did a class the other day, and I would say half the people said that they realized they were in the middle rung. They were not
Yeah.
committed,
Yeah.
right? And what does
That's
that look
such a
like?
great way to look at it too. Because I think everybody starts super fired up and then you just like you get apathetic, you get beaten down, and for one
Mhm.
reason or another, you just start to say, and maybe there's something else I could be doing, or you give yourself all these reasons for failure, right? Justifications for
Yeah,
failure. Really great.
right. And that's why I tell them, if you're committed, you're going to burn the boats, baby.
Yeah, yeah,
You
you're
are
right.
going to burn the boats. You're not going to look back. There is no other option. And failure is not an option.
Right.
Um, Failure, in my mind, is quitting.
Yeah.
That's the only failure there is, because every other thing that society considers a failure is really just an opportunity to learn or grow.
Yeah.
Right? So you have
And
to
the greatest
figure,
successes are the greatest failures, right? Those are the people that
yeah,
failed most.
no, so true, so true. And did you know this, Jim? I read this the other day, and I thought, you know what, this is such an eye opener because no one ever says it. But what do you think is the most number one factor in success? Is it intelligence? Nope. Is it
No.
skill set? Nope. Is it hunger? Yes.
Yeah. Interesting.
Yeah, so make up
Uh,
your mind and get hungry is really the first step. And
yeah.
then figuring out how you're going to get there.
Right. So we got it, commitment, and then the next step is a plan of action or a goal,
Yeah,
or what do you
yeah,
think?
creating. So, well, the next step is once your head is in the game and you set your goals, right? And I do the goals backwards, right? So, how much money do you need to run your business? How
Yeah.
much money do you need to run your life? The basic necessities.
Yeah.
And how much do you need to live the life that you really want to live?
Right.
Right? Like
Yeah.
I'm about to buy a fifth wheel. I want to travel and go do drive-by hugs for all my clients. And I wanted to make it happen a couple years ago. I didn't have anyone to drive that bad boy. And so I put it on pause, but now we're doing it,
Yeah.
right? And I'm
Nice.
super excited. And so setting those goals, that's going to give you your dollar amount, right?
Yeah.
Of how much money you want to make. Because otherwise, if we don't have even a method for setting our goals, we're like, yeah, 150, 250. No, figure out what you want. Get very clear on that picture.
Yeah.
So you start visualizing it, right? And manifesting it and praying about it, whatever it takes. And then make the plan. So how many units is it going to take, depending on your average GCI that you get per unit to get to where you want? And maybe part of your plan is getting into a higher price point. We can do that as well.
Yeah.
But then your plan starts with, I call them systems.
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of people think systems is for higher end, but think about it. If you buy a franchise and McDonald's just told the employees, show up whenever you want and make the burger however you want. How is that going to be a chaotic mess?
Yeah.
And so I like, and what real estate agents do, because no one teaches us, is playing badminton all day. Oh, there's an email, there's a text. Oh, I should probably call so-and-so. Oh, I got a voicemail. Oh, look, the dog needs to be walked and there's dishes in the sink. And they get really distracted without a plan.
Yeah.
So be super intentional with when you're going to start your day, right?
Yeah.
And your system for your morning to get this screwed on straight.
Right. Routine. Lots of good routines. Yeah.
Routines, right? And routines, what? They're systems, ways of doing things.
Yeah.
And so I start my clients off with their morning routine. And what does a morning routine do for us? It increases productivity. It's good for your health. It gets your head clear. It does, so you make better decisions. It develops a growth mindset. So many good things. And it stops this guy from showing up. I know you see my little friend here. This little guy. I call him the IBSC. This is the itty bitty shitty committee. He sits there, he's nice and fuzzy till he rears his ugly head and gets in your way. So your morning is time to really get focused. And what is your system for that? So we help people do customized systems for their morning. Be intentional. What time are you going to show up in the morning?
Right.
And maybe it's not, people with children, maybe they can't show up at 9 o'clock every morning. And maybe it's Monday, Wednesday, Thursday, they got to drop them off at daycare. So their start time is 9:30. But for a lot of people, they don't even have a set time.
No.
Because they think about the freedom that real estate gives us. Well, it gives us a lot of freedom, but it also gives us a lot of freedom to get in our own way and to stay busy.
Right.
Doing things unintentionally.
And the freedom to go absolutely broke.
Absolutely, right? To file bankruptcy or to go at worse, get a job.
Yeah, exactly. Right. Well, I always tell my students, when you had a job, the employer told you what to do, and you got a paycheck in exchange for the job you were doing. And as your own employee, the one and only employee you have, you probably should have your own job description, which I think is exactly what you're saying. So I think it's
exactly.
Right?
Because Jim, and for all of our students and clients, and I say the same thing. If you had 5 things you had to do every single day for your job, and you went in and sat there and decided to sweep the floor, right, or call your friend or scroll on Facebook, and you didn't get those 5 things done, would you have that job at the end of the day? No, you're gone, you're out.
Yeah.
Right. So show up for yourself and for your loved ones.
Right.
And that goes back to the head game, right?
Yeah.
The mindset. And so the next thing after they show up is deciding what your mornings look like, and we all know, everyone knows the principle of doing, managing your mornings, working in your business, right, at your desk, doing the things and appointments in the afternoon, but people don't do it. Right. So we cover boundary setting, right, and figuring out what are your 3 methods of getting, I call it relationship building. Because we all hate the word prospecting and lead gen. It's what it is, right? But it sounds like a lot more fun. And if you're not having fun, you're not doing it right. It's my philosophy. But what are the top 3 ways that you decide every day you're going to come from contribution, make connections, and have an impact on lives? It doesn't have to be salesy.
Right.
The one thing I tell my clients you should never say is, "Hey, Jim, it's Monica. How are you doing?" "Great." "Oh, who do you know who wants to buy, sell, or invest in real estate?"
100%.
Stop it. If you're doing it and you love it and it's working, I won't take it away. But for the most part, that's pretty icky. And no one wants to do that.
No. Yeah, I always look at it from this perspective of friends refer friends. And the problem that most agents have is they're not treating a relationship database like friends. And then you wonder, why am I not getting referrals? Well, they're not referring you because you're not their friend.
Yes, exactly. You're not
Bottom
acting
line.
like a good friend.
Yeah, you're not acting like a friend, you're acting like a salesperson. Exactly,
Isn't
right?
that true? So
It's
that's
such a,
reframing it, right?
yeah,
Which is
yeah.
a lot of mindset work. We reframe because people will say that to me. Well, I don't want to be bothering them. And I
Hmm.
said, okay. I said, so what if they were having a really bad day, and they were wishing you called or someone would call,
Yeah.
and then you decided not to, and they knew it,
Hmm. Right.
right? How good
Yeah.
of a friend are you really? Just be in the way for good things to happen.
Hmm. Hmm.
And so within that, when they choose the three activities in their customized plan of what they're going to do, it's always going to come from contribution, connection, and impact, right?
Yeah.
And so some of the ideas I give them, if they're going to call people, some people they're better off texting, or I love the video texting,
Yes. 100%.
right? I
Yeah.
mean, because they feel your energy, they're reminded of who you are. Is to tell them you love helping people build their business and you got a handyman list. Do you
Yeah.
need a plumber, a dog groomer, a dog washer, a painter, a landscaper, whatever it is? And if they say yes, great, you've got somebody. And if you don't have that person, you're going to get them on your list.
Yep.
If they say no, we're all set. Great. Who are your friends? Who do you know that has a business that I can help build their business? I can call them, vet them, and get them on the list and get them some more business.
I love it. Love
There's
it.
nothing icky
Yeah.
about that.
No, not at all. And you don't have to say the words real estate. You're just in relationship.
Never.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know what? Yeah, and people say, well, what point do I, ask them about real estate? I'm like, you don't. Because what they are going to do, a friend will probably ask you, how are things going?
Yeah.
Right. And if you're comfortable with it. So if someone asks me what I'm doing, a good 40, 50 hours a week is in my business. And then I'd be like, you know what, my husband's doing well, the dogs are doing great, we're getting ready to travel so I can see my clients across the country. Oh, what do you do again?
Yeah.
I'm gonna ask if they
Right.
don't remember. But
Yeah.
even, if you say, you know what, I'm love my family's doing great, the kids are in soccer and Susie's getting ready to go to college and business is great. The real estate market's really interesting.
Yeah.
You've just poked them and you've just reminded them. So it's
Yeah.
answering questions.
Right. Right. I love it. I love
And
it.
I don't think, when's the last time you called someone you haven't talked to a long time and they didn't say, how are you doing, Jim?
Yeah, exactly. You're gonna get into it. And inevitably, real estate's such an interesting conversation. If they know you're in real estate, they're gonna bring it up.
They're gonna probably bring it up. And if they
Yeah.
don't, who cares? When they say, how are you lightly drop it in as a reminder.
Yeah. Been out showing homes all day, but I'm having a great day. What
Yes.
exactly. Yeah.
Yep. Or I gotta run. I've got a listing appointment in a few minutes. I only have a few minutes.
Yep.
Right? Taking up the
Yep.
tone of that call is important because people are busy.
Yeah, exactly. I love it. So now they've got their morning routine. What's next? What do they do?
Yep. The
What's the
morning
next step?
routine, then their start routine, and then I have them create a bunker,
Hmm.
right? And that is with boundary setting, right? So if you work at home, and so same here with my husband. My husband knows if that door is shut, don't open it.
Hmm.
Right.
Right.
Unless it's an emergency, then you should probably call 911.
Yeah. Yeah.
So a bunker means that no one's coming in or out, right? You
Gotcha.
are focused. Your phone
Yeah.
is on do not disturb. Here's another nugget. When you meet your clients, Jim, for a new client. So if you were a new client of mine, we're at the table, we just signed a listing agreement, or what have you, or the buyer's agreement, agency agreement. And then you tell them, I say, Jim, when I'm with you, buddy, I'm 100% with you. I'm not going to be scrolling on my phone. I'm not going to answer texts. This is off. Is that okay that you have my full attention?
Love it. Yes.
No one's going to say,
Yeah.
no,
No,
I
no, no,
want
no.
you,
I want
right?
your divided attention.
Exactly. So then you say, great, that's the level of customer service that I give you and all my clients. So is it
Yeah.
also okay if I'm in a meeting that I could let it go to voicemail and I get back to you as soon as it's over?
Love
If
it.
they say no, I want you answering my phone, then my next question is, how much do they have to pay you to steal your peace and rob your soul?
Yes. Right.
All
Right.
right.
Yeah. Yeah.
So create that bunker. So
Hmm.
that everyone in the house know that you're going into meetings, you're unavailable in the office, close the door, put a sign on the back of your chair, put the
Yeah.
phone on do not disturb. And yeah, you may want to text if you're about a deal is in negotiation, text those people, everyone in the deal saying, I'm going into a meeting. Do you need anything before I go in? Set
Yeah.
yourself up for success.
Yeah.
And then set a timer. Science shows you can focus for about 45 minutes before the brain starts going all over. And I
Yeah.
also tell them to keep a notebook for squirrel chasing. So if you're in the middle of doing one of your 3 lead gen habits, and you go, oh my gosh, I forgot to call the dentist, write it down, don't do it, right?
Yeah.
Don't go down the rabbit hole. And in 45 minutes, set a timer, put on focus music in the back and do your thing and don't get distracted. And then take a quick water break and get back to it.
Mm-hmm.
That's what your mornings look like.
Yeah.
Yep. And if you can do that, because the income roller coaster is caused by what? We do the things to get the money in the door.
Yep.
We're
Yep.
busy.
Yep.
And then we stop doing the things that got them in the door. Right?
Exactly. Yeah.
And then 3 months later, we're broke.
Right.
We wonder why.
Yeah.
Consistency is key. I always tell people, during COVID, I didn't get chubby by eating 1 cheeseburger. It was the compounding effect.
Exactly. So one thing a day, right?
Yeah, you've got to keep doing the thing,
Yeah.
right?
Yes.
And don't make it icky. Make it fun. There's
Yeah.
tons of ways. You just have to be creative.
I love it. So when you have a student that says, "Hey, I've been on track, but something happened and it took me off my game, and
Yep.
I need to reset." What's your recommendation for them to reset?
Yeah, a couple of things. So it's the morning and night routine is number
Yep.
one. Oh, number
Yep.
one is deciding, right?
Yep.
We're on a diet and then we blow it and we go
Yep.
out and have, a whole pizza. Do you wait till Monday to start?
Right.
It's never going to come, or you get back on that horse.
Yep. Yep.
You get back on the horse the next possible moment. Maybe it's that day or the next morning, but you get back on it. And that morning and night routine for your head when you're off your game is so huge.
Yeah.
And also figuring out whether it's with a coach or with a loved one or journaling or through meditation, figure out what caused you to fall off. Was it burnout?
Mm-hmm.
Because
Yep.
part of the morning and night routine is self-care,
Yeah.
right? If we don't take care of this,
Yep.
we can't serve other people.
I am 100%. I think you work corporate athletes as realtors, and I think we have to have high energy levels to perform at a high level. And I think that a lot of agents don't treat their body as a temple, and you're just like,
Right.
they just throw it away and they abuse it, and then they wonder, why am I not performing at my highest level? I think you're exactly right. You got to treat it like it's a business asset, is what it is.
It so is, because if
Yeah.
it falls apart, you can't do business. So if you're not sleeping enough, you're
Yeah.
not getting up and moving enough, you're not drinking enough water, you're not eating well, you're not doing the things that are good for your body, mind, body, and soul. You got to feed all 3 of you. You can't ignore any part of you, right?
My
And
wife
that,
just got me this. I don't know if I can show it.
oh my God.
There it is.
I love that.
It's a 40-ounce Stanley cup. I've never drank this much water in my life, but every day I'm drinking 40 ounces of water. So I'm on the water kick now.
I love that. And
Yeah.
so you start noticing shifts. So when
Yeah.
you're off your game, it's not just because there's a reason,
Yeah.
right? And that takes us to mental and emotional resilience, which has everything to do with mindset, right? And the morning and night routines and taking care of you. I liken it to the air mask analogy. You're on a plane, Jim, 2-year-old, and you're free from this, is next to you. And everyone ends up okay, but the air masks do drop down. Who's do you put on first, yours or the 2-year-old?
2-year-old.
Yeah. Everyone thinks the 2-year-old, right? No. What if you pass out while putting it on the 2-year-old?
I
Like
get it.
grandfathers.
Yeah, you're supposed to put it on yourself for sure.
Yeah, it's so important. And you're right. We neglect it.
Yeah, you do.
So a quick little detour in that, when you're off your game and you need to reset, A, decide that you're getting back on. B, try to talk to someone to figure out what got you off. Was it burnout? Was it depression? Was it the IBSC, right? The 6 inches between the ears, and start your morning and night routine immediately. And by the way, whatever you pour into your head that last hour before bed is going to marinate like a really good steak. So don't be on the computer. Don't be on social media, right? Don't be watching the news. That's like the worst thing you could do for yourself.
Right.
But really look at what I see with agents is when they fall off, it's either burnout, right? They're not taking care of themselves, which that goes on the calendar first.
Mm-hmm.
Right. Schedule your you time, your family time, and then you work around that.
Yeah.
Right. And so and I give this analogy a lot. I had a client that came in one day on top of the world, biggest listing of her career. So super excited. The next week she comes in and there's tears.
Oh.
And she's ready to quit. Right. And I'm like, what's going on? Lost the listing. So within 30 minutes, we got it turned around. But if we don't have strategies to turn that around, we can stick one toe in that rabbit hole, right? Of fear, doubt, worry, anxiety, I'm not enough, all the BS from that IBSC, right? And stay in that dirty diaper unless we decide to turn it around, and we get to choose. Right. So within 30 minutes, we turned it around with two powerful questions. One was, how could this be happening for you? And I won't tell you what she said. But the truth was, what if that was a way of God or the universe, your higher power protecting you? And she's like, what do you mean? Well, what if there were a big lawsuit that was going to take a real estate agent out of the entire industry?
Interesting. Yeah.
Because of bad publicity. Would you still want that?
Yeah. Yeah.
Right. Maybe not. Right. And the other thing is, there's no failures, only opportunities to learn. So what did you learn? And the answer was very clear, and it came very quick. Talk to the decision maker. If there's more than one decision maker, you've got to develop rapport with both. She developed rapport with the husband, thinking he made the decisions when the wife wore the pants. And she said, what are you thinking? We're going with my girlfriend.
Wow.
So the truth is, it had nothing to do with her or her skills.
No.
Thing.
Yeah.
But we're really good at making it about ourselves. So you got to look at all three, right? You fall off the horse, get back on what's going on in the head, and start working on your mindset morning and night and pouring good stuff in.
Yeah, I love it. So with the changes in the industry, are you getting a lot of your agents in fear of that? Are they embracing it? What's going on with the changes happening?
You know, it's interesting. When I first speak to them, there's some fear, but then we dig into the reality of it. And the mindset, right? So you think about what happened in 2007, 2008, were agents jumping ship?
Yeah.
Fearful, right? I've got one client, I wish I could take credit, but she wasn't my client at the time, got her license that year. And she was told, keep your eye on the prize and call everybody you know to let them know you're in real estate. She sold 48 homes.
Wow.
1 year when everybody else was jumping ship. So the analogy I use for everything coming down in the shift with NAR and everything is, if you go to a meeting every single week and you take the same path to get there and they close that road, are you just going to skip the meeting, or are you going to find another way to get there?
Find another way. Yeah.
There's another way, right? So we just got to change our language. We got to change our strategies. It's really no big deal.
I agree, 100%. I think it's an opportunity. There's always when these are opportunities for growth. So I think at the end of the day, 2 years from now, we're going to say, how do we ever not do business like this? This is like the best thing that could have ever happened to all of us. So if we look at it from that perspective, I think it changes our mindset.
Right. And if you look at it, that's reframing again.
Yeah.
How you look at things is what you're going to do. If you look at it as, oh my gosh, we're not going to get paid, you're going to go in a different direction. You tell a teenager who's learning to drive, don't hit the curb, don't hit the curb. What are they going to do?
Yeah, they're going to hit the curb.
They're going to hit it. Because what you focus on expands, right?
Exactly, yeah.
So if you go, you know what? That was just one way of doing business. Now we're going to be creative. We're going to abide by the rules and laws and regulations, and we're going to find the way to do it, because it's not meant to stop us from helping people.
Right. Right. Yeah.
That's not the idea. There is just a different way of doing it. No biggie. And the way you look at it, if you're running in fear, we got to reframe it.
I 100% agree. 100% agree. What's your take on, because you coach a lot of different kinds of people that are maybe a solo agent that says, hey, Monica, I think I want to go out and create a team, or I want to go into a partnership. What do you recommend? What's your conversation with those people?
Yeah. So I hate to say it, but partnerships I've never seen work.
100% agree. I'm
glad. Do you? Okay, good.
Yeah,
I'm so glad you said that.
It's extremely rare, right?
I'm like, let's think about this, right? But team, yes, right? So I never recommend a partnership. And for a variety of reasons, we won't go into that. But for building a team, I think it's the only way to scale, right? And if you want to scale, it's a fabulous idea, but we have to do it smart. We got to have a plan, right? And it starts off, a solo agent, your first piece of leverage has got to be an assistant.
Yeah.
Right? And I've got 4 assistants now. They're in the Philippines. Juliet's been with me 5 years, right? She knows my business inside and out. And maybe you need boots on the ground, maybe not. You can save a lot of money by using a virtual assistant and change someone's life. That's a win-win, right?
Yep.
And so that's your first piece of leverage, figuring out what they're going to do, having a plan for them, starting off part-time or project-based, never hire them full-time, so you'll fire them within 60 days
Yeah.
because you don't have a plan for them. All right, that's your first piece of leverage. And then a showing agent who can become your buyer's agent.
Yes.
Pay
Yes.
per hour or per door, and then your buyer's agent. It's a
Yep.
matter of building it smartly with a plan and with a 90-day plan for starting people out, their goals. You know, because back to no plan, that's a system.
Yeah. Excuse me. And my biggest recommendation to team leaders or people that want to be a team leader is the first where you got to start is you got to make sure you got enough leads to feed the team.
Yes.
But I like your approach, and you start small. You don't start with a buyer's agent. You start with a showing agent, and if you have enough leads, then it becomes a buyer's agent. That's brilliant. It's very smart.
Absolutely. Well, and then if you got a VA, then you've got some more benefit for people for building your team.
Exactly.
Right. And it's $6 an hour if they're doing all your transaction coordinating, if it's allowed in your state, or all your marketing or the behind the scenes things, working on your 36 touch or your touch programs.
Yeah.
It's amazing what can happen.
Absolutely.
You got to be smart and you got to have a plan.
I know somebody's going to ask it, so I'm just going to ask it for them. How did you find your VAs? Your from the Philippines?
Yep. So I've got a whole list of them. I don't, oh God, people are going to hate you for this. I don't recommend hiring companies. And I've helped someone build a company. But I don't recommend it. And here's why. You'll pay that company $1,000 to $1,500 for 40 hours a week, you know, for the month for a VA. They're getting $3 to $4 an hour.
Wow. Okay.
Right. And so there are benefits of having those companies, right? They've already screened them, they vetted them, they don't always work out, right?
Right.
But they've done some of the back end work. And so I find them online. I go into, and I've got a whole list of VAs that have raised their hand. And I've got even a spreadsheet, and I don't take any money. I just connect them. I'm out of it. I don't have time to run a VA business. For my clients, I'm like, here's a spreadsheet of people we already have. I'll go in those Facebook groups and say, I need somebody who works with Go Higher Level, or I need to know who's got experience with KW Command or with whatever the needs are. And then I have them fill out a spreadsheet with the skill levels, and then I just hand it to my clients. They make the contacts, they do the interviews, they pay them directly. I'm just a medium for that. But there's so many people in the world that need the money. You change lives. And I hate to say this, there's a phone company out there that pays people in the Philippines $2 an hour to be a customer service rep.
Wow.
And then they're ill prepared, right? Following script, they can't answer any questions outside the script. And I'm sure that people are not pleasant with them. So $2 an hour, right? I can start to lose it. We're going, oh my God.
Yes.
Wow. Right? And so $2 an hour to be beat up all day in a high school situation where, you know, $6 an hour to start.
Yeah, that's good.
Is a game changer.
Relatively, that's great for them. I think it's amazing. And it's, you're right, you're helping somebody out of poverty maybe and helping them expand their lives, and you're getting a great benefit as well. So it's a win-win. So a couple other questions as we kind of wrap this up a little bit for today is, as an agent progresses in their career, so you're helping them, they've ramped it up, maybe they're at 2 million, they're on their way to 4 million now. What do you recommend in terms of them investing, like either in real estate or investing themselves? What should be some of those initial things to kind of create some long-term security for them? Because we know the market can be up and down and sideways and everything else. Financially, what should they be doing?
Yeah. So I call that the building wealth. Right. And what are you going to do? What's your plan to do that? So we've got a spreadsheet that we've created that looks at all of their assets, right? What they have, whether it what is liquid, right? What is not, list it all out. And then I have them look at how much money they're going to need for retirement. And then reverse engineer the plan. So it may be real estate investing, it may be flipping, or it may be buying and holding. It could be a variety of things. It depends on what they're interested in. I got a couple of clients that have got about 10 homes. So they're set for their retirement, and they're all paid off now.
Nice.
Which is really incredible, right? The renters paid them off. It really depends on the person, what their risk level is, but we always reverse engineer. Where do you want to go with it? Is it one of the whole life insurance policies where you can be your own bank? Is that
Yeah.
an option you want to do? Where are your investments? And so it depends on the person, but we build it individually for them. And
Yeah,
real estate investing, in my opinion, is where it's at, because real
absolutely.
estate's never going to go away.
Yeah, I just had a conversation with my buddy Cole Harvey about this, and we were talking about that in this industry. It's really interesting because we do have insider knowledge where
Yeah,
you get arrested if if we had the knowledge we did in the stock market or the bond market,
right,
or
right.
the oil market. But we have insider knowledge. We know the neighborhoods that are progressing. We know the ins and outs of the industry. So it's such an advantage for us to be investing in real estate. So I think you're exactly right. Number one strategy for all of us is investing in
100%.
real
And
estate.
when the market shifts, don't panic.
Yeah.
Hold on to it,
Yep.
right? Just
Yep.
keep going. Things are slick, they cycle.
Yep.
So many people lost. I had someone who I didn't know him at the time, but they lost 100 units because they
Wow.
panicked.
Wow. Wow.
Heaven over,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
And it was poor advice given to him, and panic. And can
Wow.
you imagine if you just held on to him?
Oh my gosh. Right? Crazy. Crazy.
Don't panic.
Don't panic. And look at the opportunity. When there's a downturn in the market, generally there's an exodus of agents. So the number of transactions per agent can actually go up, not down. When you look at it
Yes,
perspective, right? So there's
it's
always an
their
opportunity there.
friend.
Yeah.
So if your colleagues are jumping off board, let them go.
Yeah.
If that's what they want to do. And
That's right.
that is the absolute truth. With things,
Yes.
people leave, and it leaves more money on the table for you to change other people's, more opportunities for you to change lives.
I love it. Last question I got for you is because I do a lot of brokerage level coaching for brokerage owners and team leaders. One question that can come up is, as somebody that coaches agents, what's your recommendation to agents when selecting a brokerage? I mean, setting aside commissions, because that's a whole different
Yeah.
conversation. What's in terms of the value proposition that
Yep.
agents should be looking for from an office? What's your recommendations there?
It's interesting because I was in leadership at one point, for a brokerage. And what I saw is people wanting guidance,
Yeah.
right? Because they're always promised guidance.
Right.
And then the broker or the people running it are just way too busy to give it to them. So
Yeah.
guidance and accountability. And I think that starts with being pickier with who
Hmm.
you bring into your brokerage. Don't make it about numbers.
Yeah.
Because if it's about numbers, you're going to have a bunch of dead weight that you're carrying forward with you, right? Get those hungry people and be able to pour into them,
Right.
right?
Yeah.
And accountability. If you're a leader, they're going to follow your lead. And if you're playing badminton all day and you don't have a plan for yourself, and you're not setting your schedule and your boundaries, they're watching you.
Yeah.
They're going to do the
Exactly.
same thing. They're going to be all over the board, right?
Hmm.
Without a
Yeah.
plan.
Yeah.
So
Lead from the front. Lead from the
yeah,
front.
you have to lead from the front.
Yeah.
And I've seen teams where small brokerages where I've had them, where during certain hours, for R&B, the relationship building lead gen, wear construction vests. So
Interesting.
they knew that if you had a construction vest on and you were going to the restroom or to get water, don't know. There's no speaking to them. Because do you have a minute is really 45 minutes.
Exactly.
Right.
100%.
And before
Yeah.
you know it, you're out of time. You got to get to your next appointment.
Yeah.
I think the other thing that provides value is really providing services for them.
Yeah.
Right. What are they getting for the splits?
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Are they getting training? Are they getting accountability? Are they getting, maybe it's TC, or maybe it's marketing, or maybe it's events.
Yeah.
Right. Hosting those events, you can create free events for your brokerage, one a quarter, and have
Yeah.
your people invite their people.
Yeah.
Those things are huge. It's support, right? Not
Exactly.
just numbers, I
Yeah.
think.
I love it. I love it. Well, Monica, how can people continue the journey with you? How can they learn more about you, find you online, and all the good stuff?
Right on. So the website is Monica K Coaching, just the letter K, no period, monicakcoaching.com. And I give out my cell, and I probably have to stop doing this at some point or another, but I do it because I love people. And so feel free to reach out, 720-338-2586. I'll connect with you. And if you want to jump on a free acceleration call, I'm not salesy pushy. I'm going to pour into you for an hour. And if you're curious on what it looks like after that to work with me, you'll ask questions, and we'll figure that out. But I'd love to make a new friend and pour into people. So 720-338-2586.
I love it. All right. Thank you so much, Monica. Have a fantastic day. And thank you for being on the program.
It's been an honor and a blessing. Thanks for your time, Jim.
Thank you.